Rashai, I know. Clean shaven. Who am I? Just a guy, we're talking. So, today, on the way to work, dropped my brother off at work for him, and I got some feedback for you for another weekend. So, by the time this goes up, I'll have last weekend's and then this weekend's sort of thoughts and feedback, just ideas. So, basically, this last few days was pretty good for me. I tried a Tony Robbins course. It was Unleash the Power Within online version, and I did get a good amount out of it. There was a workbook. We did some activities. If I were to take a few things away from Mr. Robbins, Tony, my new uncle. One is the power of energy and state. That was the biggest consistent thing during the event. Definitely a little bit harder because it's virtual. Also, like dancing around and stuff. Like, at not my own apartment, kind of like it's kind of a thing. But that was definitely one of the big takeaways. Setting your energy right, is that you're getting to a better state, and right, there's more to it where you're also practicing gratitude and you're shifting your nervous system to be in that, right, these higher states of being, like energy is better, like we've heard of this kind of stuff. And that was kind of cool. It was definitely very powerful that such an effect could happen through Zoom. So crazy effing thing. So this whole thing, 60,000 people worldwide, all time zones, and it was like, I want to say about 300 people in like my room, and there was probably like around 60 or so rooms, if not more, because right there's like all these people, and that was pretty cool that technology can like handle that. Because we also did breakout sessions where you would be paired with obviously people from your group already, and then you would chat about something. So that was definitely really cool. I think for me, I do prefer writing and like chatting with people, so I did really like and enjoy those parts of the experience. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. It was a very cool experience. Now, obviously these were like 12, 14-hour days, so I wasn't there completely for everything. Because like the beginning was basically more like a hype vamp up session where we're like setting energy, which I get. It just is like not, I feel like, the best use of time, right? Because those are just limited time. But like if you're there for yourself, there's like a lot of moving parts. And at the end of the day, he is also running a business, so there was presentations and speakers who talked about his other course, which is like, it makes sense because if you're coming to him out of the 60,000 people, there are definitely people out there who really need this material and these exercises, that really shift their life more than I don't need such a big change, but I can see the benefit of having Tony as a resource. Right? If you were like, look, my life is like sucks, things are really bad, yeah, he could definitely help you get into a better state or shift or like see things in a different way, because it's also forcing yourself, because your nervous system is like being retrained. It's kind of like working out. I think also not to make light of it or to underestimate, just that a lot of these changes and stuff are things that will take time and reps of just, right, you're shifting how you think, how you show up, the way you talk to yourself, your habits, which it was 4 days, and right, he does some programs which are up to 6. But you have to take momentum and inspiration from the bigger session and then apply that to your life and make shifts, because it's not just those 4 days. You have to show up for yourself daily. So I think I would recommend Tony's experience. It's definitely a lot to have to, right, take off or put time aside for yourself. I think I am open to trying one of his in-person sessions. I think that would be a more powerful experience because you're in the room with people. You get to feel and see people and really just unleash that energy. There's definitely limitations with technology, but it's very cool. Like he has this whole setup where he's showing people on screens. So that is very cool. So I would recommend it. Then yesterday, I ended a little bit early. Went to the city, and I got to see Lewis Howes, who, if you don't know, he has a podcast called The School of Greatness, which I listen to, and he's interviewing all different people, different types of people, different disciplines, different specialties, and it was really cool. He was on a book tour as well for his book, which talks about relationship with money and how to really get into that state of abundance and really, your relationship to money. Because there's, I think, similar to Tony, it's right, the self-help industry, right? It's really delving deep into your mind, and there are just things there which you're not aware of. When we don't really learn the skills in school or the tools to be like, oh, like I'm not my thoughts, right? There's so many things here. So it's very cool for me to see the difference in Tony's approach versus Lewis. Because Lewis is also trying to show up and help us. He did an interview as well for Evie, I forget her name, but it's going to come out soon. She's former special service and from New York, Greek. So you can kind of imagine she's like a pretty tough lady. Very good information on how to talk, because she was part of the Secret Service. So like how you get information from people from like terrorists and stuff. She shared some of her experiences and some tips. So that was cool. It was really like very, very great. Like very loving the experience here. So right, two different sides of the coin. When I was in the city, obviously taking an interview in New York City, it's always great. So for you guys, I would say definitely explore self-help. See who kind of speaks to you, because there's so many different people out there. Not that one person is right or wrong, and so many offer courses. I guess word of caution with this is that, right, a lot of people have their courses and stuff, and some people are not necessarily licensed, like psychiatrists, psychologists, or people who can really offer you like help. At the same point, right, like someone like Tony, he has 40 years of experience. So I would give like Tony credibility because of that, and as well as they've done some science on like shifting your nervous system, and that makes sense to me. I definitely felt it too, kind of just sort of moving around, and that's definitely wisdom I've heard before of to shift your state, you move. Like if you're in your head, you should walk. Or you kind of do the opposite sometimes of what you think you need to do. So definitely want to share that. It was definitely a good 4 days. And the real work starts now. That it's about showing up for yourself and creating like your life and doing whatever kind of speaks to you, because we each have our own like journeys and things that are important to us. So we are in March, almost over. April is coming, and it's exciting stuff. Interestingly enough, Starbucks is still kind of in the news with the CEO having not fired people, but been like, hey, like, be grateful for your jobs. So it's actually came up at the Lewis's it was like a, I don't even know what to call it. It was like a show, because he was like talking, and then he had the interview. So what happened was the lady Evie had actually, she didn't say she'd interviewed Starbucks, but it sounded like Starbucks, that a manager had, or somebody at some position of authority at Starbucks had talked to her, had questions of like how to handle like an upset customer, and it was like, how do you deal with a customer who is yelling at you, who's just like irate and would not de-escalate? Like, you would make the drink right, you do the things. I was like, oh my god. Like, this is literally my lived experience right here, dealing with people who are essentially, what you told us was that sometimes people just want to vent. And as was the case here, this is what the person wanted. They wanted to vent and be seen and heard and not really have a solution. Because some people don't want a solution, they just want to like complain, which is sort of here's like a little hack I've learned. I'm not really applying it, but it definitely comes up, is that does someone want a solution, or do they want to like just vent? So like when you show up your friends, sometimes people just want to like complain, or just like get it out, instead of like, hey, like let's figure this out. So that is something to think about, to ponder in your life today. Do I want to complain? Do I want to vent? But it was definitely cool, very inspiring. So the weekend has definitely left me in a state of wanting to continue growth, being there for the people in my life, for myself, more importantly myself, because I definitely gained some insight to how I am processing my interaction with other people, and how I maybe showing up in like weird ways because of just how my lived experience has shaped me. So I'm definitely excited to continue that, because understanding your thoughts is more, you have to, at the end of the day, you definitely have to really journal. I feel like you can do one of these sort of self-help things, but to really understand and to process it, journaling about it, thinking about it, and then changing those beliefs is super important. So definitely want to leave you with that. So for this week, I'm gonna try and make more time for my trainer course. The biggest issue being the time, having like a designated time to do something, do that, and then go for a walk, and then go to the gym. So my routine has definitely not been as dialed in as in the past. So that's something I'm thinking about for the future. How can I show up? What can I do? How can I create systems to best succeed? Because that's really, at the end of the day, what you want to do with anything in your life. It's a bit of a rainy day today. New week coming in, Monday, fun day. So yeah, from Tony, if I really want to stress anything from him, that energy thing, which is something I feel like I kind of knew. It reminds me of my time at Starbucks, where I would go in and kind of try to bring good energy and try to make a difference for coworkers, for customers. Definitely reminded me of those funny moments of just making jokes and not getting too trapped in your mind. Because if you get trapped in your mind, your negative thoughts will take over. No matter what you do, no matter how much work you've done, no matter how, you can't outthink something. If that makes any sense, I think for me, also a big realization was that I was as a younger me was very entitled, and in a way, I guess thinking I was kind of worthy of things that not necessarily were putting in the work and time, because I achieved a lot in my life at a young age, and the amount of accolades I had from school, as well as success, I did a lot of clubs in high school, got good grades and stuff, went to honors college for Stony, studied all these crazy things I have to do this. And bigger lesson here is, the big thing is, effort and energy and showing up and doing something. That is really more important than anything else. Because that's what's going to cause success. That where your attention goes, energy will flow. Yeah, Tony definitely said that. He had a lot of good speakers. Definitely, he has a very good team. They took really good care, and I was very. Again, a lot of it was stuff I kind of knew, but hearing it again to reinforce and it was definitely like an experience. I definitely would check back with me in like a year or two, because once I have the right life and time, I definitely would like to make time and try it in person for the. I guess they're the same one that I did. So there is like the one I did was an online version. There's also an in-person version where you walk across coals. I don't know if I like that actually the thing. That I it's definitely a little scary, but I think right the difference of because I thought about it right. This I saw one. There was I'm not going to do this one, but there's one in California later this year. Not that much more than what I paid for the online. Obviously, right, the cost is more because right you're flying, and then you're right staying at a hotel for it's 4 days, so you're staying like probably 4 nights, probably four, because right it's like pretty early start, and then you have the time of committing to do that. But I think that's definitely there's something to it, because right you're really putting in that time and effort to grow, which is important. So I definitely would like to commit to you guys to do that eventually. Just to have the experience, but I think it'd be kind of cool. Because like I thought of it too. Like I've done Comic Cons and stuff where it's like 3 days and I paid like it's probably like $300 for like being at a con, but it's not really an organized experience. It's kind of just like you show up, I'm Spider-Man, I'm doing things, but there's no like learning and growth, which is something I do enjoy. Also, by doing these kind of events where people are very growth mindset oriented, you're going to be meeting other people like that, which is the friends you want. Because another key lesson was like you are, well, the wisdom is like you're the some aggregate of like the 5 closest friends. So, right, if I'm who do you spend time with, that's who you're going to be. Who's your peers? So, I just want to emphasize having a peer group, which, right, I think that also is like reason why you want to do these events, because right that will put you in contact with these this team and stuff, which will help you grow. You'll get those reps in and like that information to change, and then also meet other people, because right if you stay with the same kinds of people you've been with and you haven't gotten results, it's like it's kind of like the wheel will keep itself going, as the saying were. So definitely many lessons from Uncle Tony. Uncle Tony Italiani. Definitely a lot to process. It's definitely pretty good. So I'm at work now, getting off the highway, and yeah, so definitely would recommend. You do want to go into it with an open mind. If you're a closed mind, you're like, oh, this is stupid, or you're like, oh, like why am I like this guy's just gonna tell me like stuff. So right, the mindset of like openness of just hey, and that's what I went in with too. It's just like hey, like spending this money, I'm putting around some time. I'm not gonna get like every second of it, but I did get some stuff out of it. There was some key moments. So I think the 3rd day we talked about some limiting beliefs. So I think being transparent and honest, I think that kind of thing you definitely want to like give some more intentional time, because to really think of like limiting thoughts and like things that are like blocks, it was like a few hours, because we did a lot of like breath work as well as like focusing on your energy and feeling like feelings in your body of like like you keep going in negative patterns, and then versus like once you let go of those, which is important stuff too, really to process right what was my old belief, right, get rid of it and then get a new one. But like it's not so quick. Your body's not just gonna be like it's something you believe and you were practicing for a long time. So I do think that it's a great first step, and there is a lot more work to be done to grow and change the beliefs. So I think that's another, for me, a takeaway, that I can shift my life, and I do want to do some more work with these beliefs. Really just think like what behaviors did I do that were part of that cycle that kept going. So that, for me, was pretty cool. And yeah, there you have it. So yes, more fun coming soon.